UK ministers are installation towards £92 meter to research the practicability of house a independent Sputnik navigation framework. The new web would be an option to the Europe Association's Galileo draft, in that Britain looks set to miss key roles as a outcome of Brexit. The UK area agent will conduct the engineering evaluation. Officials will attract UK production to speculation a capacity style, its mechanical engineering requirements, plan and potential price. The at first contracts for the research job could be given as previous as October. The UKSA expects the evaluation to get on a year and apart. Ministers could later solve if they very wish to begin in a enterprise how will include a cost tag in the billions. London and Brussels are yet negotiations Britain's next involvement in Galileo. The parties are now in controversy about the UK's accessing, an industry deposit, to the framework's social controlled facility, PRS, for March of following year. PRS is a specific navigate and synchronization alarm designed for use by the government agencies, the gunman forces and disaster response. Anticipated to go on the internet in 2020, it is intended to be accessible and strong though in times of meltdown. Brussels says London cannot once include accessing to PRS while the UK foliage the Europe bloc since it will be a overseas essence. London says PRS is urgent to its war and safety interests and warns how if it cannot use and job on the alarm later it will go off of Galileo in its completeness. Europe's Galileo framework. The UK as an EU term country has so far nested pound in Galileo, helped to construct the satellites, to work them in orbital, and to determine essential aspects of the framework's encrypt, consisting for PRS himself. Proper to the Europe Committee position Brexit rules superimposed on UK companies, Bus Defence and Area Limited was not capable to competitive for the Galileo job we had taken for above the recent 10 years, Colin Painter, MD of Bus DS in the UK, told. We thus really lot greet the UK area agents at present that we trust will enable Bus on in some struck UK companies to give along an association of the top of UK to make pioneering solutions for a probable next UK navigate framework. Few human beings question Britain is able of evolving its own Sputnik navigation framework. But the problem would not be direct forward. There are fair for persons issues how will requirement to be aimed up ministers can mark off on such a main draft, price, the original estimation taking into account for a independent framework while at first muted was put in the area of £3 bn, 5 bn. But main area infrastructure facilities projects include a story of by estimating complexities. Both of GPS and Galileo price far more than, and took lot much longer, to construct rather than nobody anticipated. In supplement to the kit-up price, down there are the yearly fleeing expenses, that in the instance of Galileo and GPS run in the hundreds of millions of euros/dollars. A Sat-nav framework as necessary length-term obligation of subsequent governments. Gain, fair the year-to-year funding for a Sat-nav framework would potential midget which the UK by the government now spends on all some civilian area operation, approximately £400 meter per year. The issue is if investment in another place, in each the area or war sectors, would give more returns, says Leicester College area and world relations specialist Bledon Bowen. We could expend the £100 meter practicability cash duplicating which the by the government is giver to evolve missile launcher ability in the UK, that is just £50 meter, it could do a actual distinction. You could as well expend how cash purchase several image satellites for the contemporary, that would convert their capabilities night. Skills, Britain has a lively area segment. It has lot of the required skills and technologies to construct its own Sat-nav framework, but it does not include them all. Lot of the parts for Galileo satellites, for sample, include solitary suppliers in Europe. If Britain cannot evolve national delivery chains for the components it as necessary, down there may be no option but to give them in of the mainland. Conducting the drafts budgeting in the EU 27 may not be politically reasonable taking into account the country of present relations on Galileo. Frequencies, the UKSA says a UK framework would be compliant in America's GPS, and by expansion in Galileo, since both of these systems transfer their synchronization and navigate signals in the identical portion of the wireless range. This simplifies receivers and allows manufacturers to make machinery how plant in all accessible system. The is the instance for the shavings in the newest smartphones, for copy. But America and the EU had an enormous row in 2003 above rate interoperability and the capacity for intervention. It was UK engineering personnel who ultimately showed the two system could really joyfully company exist. They would include to do the identical once again for a UK independent web. Out of world adoption on the frequencies in utilize, no draft could begin. Several analysts trust the largest productive attitude now for the UK would be to expand its area examination and capabilities in areas not already coded by other, in area observation, or in safe area communication, for sample. The would do Britain and though more than irresistible affiliate for all way of projects, consisting Galileo. Alexandra Stickings of the King Joint Services Institution for Defence and Safety teaching told, work its way to a agreed treaty on Galileo would enable the UK to later attention its area budgeting and policy to construct UK capabilities and increase the things we're capable to propose as an world affiliate.